I gave my AI a brain, and I'm not even being dramatic. Take a look at this. So every single node that you see on screen is a piece of knowledge, and every single line between the nodes is a connection that it made by itself. So if I tell the AI, for example, go fetch me the latest AI news on the internet, it will start building this kind of graph view and building the relationships between every single piece of information it retrieves from the internet. Okay, so here's the thing. Most casual users don't realize that AI does not retain information from conversation to conversation. So you could spend an hour teaching it about your business model, your niche, whatever. If you were to start a new conversation, that context is completely lost. Even from within the same exact conversation, there is a limit, and that limit is called a context window. There's only so much information that the AI is able to retain and use every single time you send a message. So oftentimes, as you approach that max limit of the context window, you'll notice that the AI is getting dumber. And even sometimes it'll throw a message saying, "Hey, you're done, buddy. You used all your tokens for this session." So then the question becomes, how do you actually give AI long-term memory? And the answer just boils down to files. You just give it a folder full of Markdown files that are all pointing at each other. And like we said, these Markdown files are knowledge. So whether it's a topic or a tool or how to use a tool, it's a Markdown file. And the amazing part is each Markdown file has a relation with other related files. So when you ask the AI a question, it doesn't have to think about anything. It literally just has to go and read the files. And because all of these files are linked together, the AI can follow relationships and give you things that you didn't even think about. So that's what this is. It's a permanent growing brain made out of files. Okay, so this is all you need. It's called Obsidian and it's completely free. And it's what will allow us to store and structure these files. It also gives us that cool little graph view I showed in the beginning of how all your files interact with one another. So then you combine this with Claude Code, and it's what I'm going to do in my terminal right now. Here we are on Claude on our terminal. So we're not just going to give it a simple one-liner prompt. We're going to give it a complete description of our system. So how to rank these topics by heat level, how to structure the pages that it's giving back, etc. This is what that markdown file looks like. And keep in mind, this is for my use case on doing research on AI topics so that I can, get creative with my videos and see what works, what doesn't work. If you want to apply this to your own use case, I do have a complete markdown file on a more general way of structuring this AI brain. It's in the link down below in the description. And all you have to do is grab it, give it to Claude, and then Claude is going to start progressively asking you questions so that it can build this properly for your use case. Perfect. So as you can see, I'm giving it here the file structure it needs to follow, the start of the claude.md file, which is the most important file in your Claude projects. And then I'm instructing it on how to store these topics, summaries, to give me key points on these topics, the tools used, etc. And all these little details are what's used to make those connections between files. So let's grab all of this, Control A, and then we're going to copy it, send it over to Claude Code, and see how it behaves. Okay, we bring it over here, paste it, and as you can see, I pasted around 334 lines, and now we're going to let it struggle. So you'll see that for me, it will just go ahead and build the whole thing. But if you do end up using the file in the description, it's going to be progressively asking you questions one by one so that it can set this up properly for your use case. All right, so as you can see, it now finished building the thing. It took around a minute and a half. And it's asking me if it should go do research now. So I'll say, absolutely, if you could go do some research about the latest AI trends and topics, and we'll let it run with that. So now it starts thinking. As you can see, it's doing research across Reddit, hacker news, AI news, whatever news. And then once it's done with its research, it'll get back to me. And if we go to our Obsidian, you'll see that we now have a ton of files. All right, so 22 minutes later, we are finally done. And as you can see, I gave it a pretty big task of, hey, scour the entire internet for AI topics. Now, as you can see here, it searched 27 sources and it built 136 wiki files in total. Perfect. So the job's done. Now, the amazing part about this is that I can completely close off this agent and then start a new conversation, and I will still have the same quality context as the one in this conversation. So now I'm going to say something based on your wiki and research reports, what are the top 5 video ideas you recommend I make right now? Okay, perfect. So the topics are flying in. We have the one about 5 parallel agents. Funny, I just made that video yesterday. MCP servers, blah, 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 etc. So what would be interesting now is to see what kind of graph it came up with and what our knowledge graph looks like. So I'll say a piece of idea is stored within this project. And let's try to find one that's more specific to a video. Yeah, this is about project structure. Okay, right here we have agentic AI with a heat score of 5 and a summary of what the topic is, the key points, etc. So yeah, you get the point. Obviously, this use case is a bit surface level. This would be very useful when you have big projects with multiple files and it's just super hard to store them within Claude's context. Like I said, I have the complete starter kit in the description if you want to try this out for yourself. And if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Thank you.